What if everything you thought you knew about Japanese railways was only half the story? When people imagine Japan's legendary rail system, they immediately picture the sleek Shinkansen bullet trains racing at breathtaking speeds. Since 1964, this engineering marvel has transported over 6.5 billion passengers without a single fatality, a safety record unmatched anywhere on Earth. Yet this incredible achievement represents merely the tip of the iceberg. The real magic of Japanese railways lies not in their fastest trains, but in their most ordinary ones. Every day, millions of commuters, students, and travelers rely on conventional rail services that move at moderate speeds yet deliver extraordinary reliability. These unglamorous workhorses form the backbone of a transportation network that rivals nations with populations several times larger, making Japan's rail success story far more fascinating than speed alone could ever explain. The conventional powerhouse, consider Kyushu, Japan's southernmost major island, where the railway story unfolds differently than most expect. While Shinkansen lines connect major cities in impressive times, Fukuoka to Osaka in just 2 hours 28 minutes, these high-speed services account for only 1/3 of rail revenue. The real workhorses are the 8 main lines and 13 regional routes serving over 500 stations across the island. A student traveling between universities can choose the limited express Sonic departing every 20 minutes for a swift 22-minute journey, or save money with a local train taking 40 to 50 minutes. What makes these conventional services remarkable isn't speed, it's reliability and accessibility. JR Kyushu's entire network maintains average delays of just 1 minute, with any disruptions immediately communicated online. In 2023, conventional rail carried 300 million passengers compared to the Shinkansen's 12 million, traveling nearly 4 times the distance. This isn't about technological supremacy. It is about creating a transportation culture where taking the train simply makes the most sense for daily life, whether commuting to work or embarking on weekend adventures. Geographic fortune and timing. Japan's railway success wasn't purely engineered. Geography dealt the nation a favorable hand from the start. The archipelago's mountainous terrain concentrated populations into dense urban centers, creating perfect conditions for efficient rail networks. These cities sit far enough apart to justify rail connections, but close enough to make them practical, unlike the vast distances challenging American or Australian systems. When railways arrived in the late 19th century, they became synonymous with national progress and industrial might. However, geographical advantages tell only part of the story. Japan ranks among the world's top 30 nations in car ownership, with 670 vehicles per 1,000 people, comparable to Canada and France. Post-World War II freight demands diminished as trucking grew more competitive, meaning passenger services rarely had to compete for track access. Yet, by the 1980s, rising automobile culture threatened to derail the entire rail industry, pushing the state-owned Japanese national railways toward financial catastrophe that would require radical solutions. The crisis deepens. The 1964 Tokyo Olympics brought the world's first bullet train and national pride, but ironically marked the beginning of Japanese National Railway's financial nightmare. That same year, JNR posted its first ever loss as car ownership surged and airlines expanded their networks. What started as millions in losses rapidly escalated to billions, then trillions of yen. Throughout the 1960s and 70s, desperate reforms from network expansion to fare increases failed spectacularly as rail's passenger market share plummeted from over 50% to the mid. By the early 1980s, JNR had accumulated approximately 20 trillion yen in debt comparable to entire national debts worldwide. The organization suffered from severe overstaffing, bureaucratic paralysis, and strategic inflexibility that no amount of government bailouts could remedy. As Japan's economic growth slowed, politicians recognized that incremental reforms wouldn't save the railway system. Only one bold solution remained viable: complete privatization through division, transforming one failing monolith into multiple competitive entities that could adapt, innovate, and thrive. The Great Division, privatizing JNR, meant splitting one organization into 9 distinct companies, each designed to succeed where centralized control had failed. The core network divided into Junior West, Junior Central, and Junior East, with borders strategically drawn to keep 95% of passenger journeys within single company territories. JR Central inherited the golden Tokyo-Osaka Kukidora's shortest in track, but highest in profit. Junior West gained more trackage but lower demand routes, while Junior East received the longest network through less populated northern regions. The division balanced profitable urban commuter lines with money-losing rural routes, ensuring each company bore fair shares of both. Initially, the crown jewel Shinkansen network remained in a separate holding company that leased infrastructure to operators, with fees calculated by profitability rather than capital costs. The 3 island companies Junior Kyushu, Shikoku, and Hokkaido received government subsidies, acknowledging their challenging economics. A freight company handled nationwide cargo separately, while the JNR Settlement Corporation managed the crushing debt burden, hoping eventual company sales would generate repayment revenue. The transformation unfolds. The newly formed junior companies didn't just reorganize, they revolutionized railway operations throughout the late 1980s and beyond. This transformation succeeded partly because Japan's economy boomed during the period, creating strong travel demand. However, the structural reforms proved genuinely effective, so much so that Junior West, Central and East listed on the Tokyo Stock Exchange after meeting the required 5-year maturity threshold. Share sales generated funds to pay down settlement corporation debt, while profitable operations allowed companies to purchase Shinkansen infrastructure outright. The privatization gamble was paying off, but one crucial innovation would prove even more transformative than operational efficiency alone: the real estate revolution. Before privatization, JNR focused narrowly on moving trains, but private operators had discovered something more lucrative: property development. Since the 1920s, companies like Tokyu Corporation understood that rail access dramatically increased land values, creating opportunities beyond ticket sales. They built commuter lines to neighborhoods like Jiagaoka, dubbed Little Europe, where charming, pedestrian-friendly developments surrounded stations owned and developed by the railway company itself. This integrated approach generated revenue streams independent of passenger counts while simultaneously creating demand for rail service. Post-privatization, junior companies eagerly adopted this strategy nationwide. JR Kyushu launched fast food divisions, retail operations, and country clubs. Junior East purchased the Gala Yuzawa ski resort and the train line serving it, literally dropping passengers into the resort's main building. JR West developed hotel chains across its network. Today, real estate accounts for roughly 20% of Junior West's revenue, providing crucial income diversification. This virtuous cycle where railways increase property values while property developments generate railway revenue became fundamental to Japanese rail success beyond mere operational excellence. The unfinished journey. Despite remarkable achievements, privatization hasn't universally succeeded across Japan's islands. JR Kyushu listed on the stock exchange in 2016, demonstrating viability, but Junior Shikoku and Hokkaido struggle significantly. JR Hokkaido depends on subsidies for nearly half its revenue, as declining populations and car preference create vicious cycles of reduced ridership leading to decreased service frequency. Planned Shinkansen extensions to Sapporo have been dramatically delayed until at least 2038, 7 years beyond original targets due to severe construction challenges, pushing potential revenue improvements into an uncertain future. The reality is that railways, like highways, aren't always meant to turn profits. Their public infrastructure. Even successful junior companies benefited from massive government subsidies, including approximately $200 billion in absorbed JNR debt that taxpayers ultimately covered. International privatization experiments show mixed results. Japan's approach succeeded where Britain's and Argentina's faced controversy. What worked wasn't privatization itself, but rather the specific structure: regional operations, strict oversight, competitive markets, and crucially, enormous initial public investment that kick-started a virtuous cycle of reliability, generating ridership, generating profit, generating better service. Thank you for watching the World Documentaries. If you found this deep dive into Japan's railway revolution fascinating, please hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss our explorations of how systems shape societies. Give us a thumbs up if you learned something new today, and we'd absolutely love to hear from you in the comments below. Have you experienced Japanese railways firsthand? What surprised you most about this story? The crisis that nearly destroyed the system, the creative real estate solutions, or the ongoing challenges? Share your thoughts, experiences, or questions about transportation systems around the world. Your engagement helps us create better content and build a community of curious minds exploring how our world really works. Join us next time as we continue uncovering the extraordinary stories behind ordinary systems that shape our daily lives. Until then, keep questioning, keep learning, and keep exploring with the World Documentaries.